Hello everyone and welcome to this quick introduction to the Access Rights Management software 8-Man. What we're going to do right now is just take you through the most basic use case so you can get an idea of what 8-Man does and what its purpose is. So before we jump into the software itself, we're just going to take a quick look at the base problem. And that's with determining access rights to things like file servers or SharePoint and Exchange. So what we're looking at right now is a file server, and we have various folders here. So all we want to determine is who has access to these folders, what do they have access to, so on and so forth. So I'm simply going to right click on this folder, and I'm going to dig through the security tabs. I'm going to go to this advanced tab here. And what I'm left with is a list of all the groups that have access to this finances folder. Now this is good for some purposes, but what you're not seeing here are, for example, the group memberships, if there's a nested groups, if there's a group in recursions. So really you're only getting half of the picture. That's where 8-Man comes in. So the way we approach the problem is a little bit differently. So we're just going to log on to the 8-Man user interface, and instead of digging through property tabs or digging through security tabs, we've replaced all that with a simple search bar. So all you have to do is there's always a search bar up here in the top right hand corner. There's one right here in the middle of the screen. And all we want to do is type in the name of that folder again. So type in the first few letters of that folder. And see here we have our directory. Now this is going to take us over to our resources view. So over here on the left hand side, we have our entire folder structure on the file server. We have SharePoint, Exchange, so on and so forth. And then what we have over right here are two different things. First, we have all the access broken up by NTFS permissions. So for example, I can open up the modify right tab and see all the groups with their group members listed who have modify rights. And then what I have down here is a flat list of all users who can access 8-Man through one path or another. So I can click on this user, Bruce. I can see he has two different access paths, and just by clicking on him, I get a full description of the access path of how he has access to this folder. So great. And now the next thing we want to do is we say, okay, I know everyone who has access to this folder. Now show me what this user can access. So you want to right click on that user, and you can run a report to get this information. But let's just take a look at it in the live view. So you can see the user pops up over here on the left hand side, and I can open up that file server again or SharePoint or what have you. And I can see, okay, this user has access to the three following folders. I can see the effective rights listed here. And then what you can do from this point is you can say, okay, show me what other users have access to, show me what group membership grants access to, and then you can run reports and of course make administrative changes. So that's the basic concept behind 8-Man. It's taking a picture and giving you all the information and complete transparency of who has access to what, how they have access to it, and then allow you to make some reports, changes, and also run some auditing at the end of that. Look out for some more videos that go into detail about the 8-Man software, and thank you for listening. Hello everyone, and welcome to this brief tutorial on how to create users and other Active Directory accounts in 8-Man. So it's a pretty straightforward process, and what we're going to do is just show you how you create a new user account and what advantages we bring to the table. So first thing you need to do, of course, is log on to 8-Man, and then just click on this administrative shortcut here in the top left-hand side of the screen. So by clicking on that, you can see we have the ability to create administrative accounts, we can create new groups, we can create service accounts, and we can also create new user accounts. So for this case, we're just going to take a new user, so you have someone joining the company, for example. And by hitting select, this takes us to the create new account screen. And what we have here is a pretty straightforward template where all you need to do is fill in the required information. So in this case, you just need to put in a first and last name. So we're going to put John Pierce here. He's going to be joining the company. You can see it automatically creates a SAM account name. You can set which OU the user is going to be created in. From there, you can edit the LDAP attributes automatically. So if you need to make changes to those, you can do that. And this takes us to some of the advantages we have with 8-Man. So what we do have is the ability to institute a role-based access scheme. So instead of copying a user or giving new user accounts access to resources in a piecemeal fashion, what we have here is a simple template. And what this shows is say, okay, everyone who's joining the sales team, for example, when this account is created, it's going to get the following group memberships, which correspond to access to something in our environment. So that could be a folder, it could be a SharePoint site, so on and so forth. On top of that, you can set an activation date and an expiration date. So you can say this user is going to join in 2 weeks, set the activation date, and then on that date and time, 8man's automatically going to create that group. You can even set up a new mailbox or set the password options from this screen as well. Last but not least, we just need to add a comment. Comments are an obligatory field within 8man. And what we're going to do is track all those changes so you can see who's making a change, what type of change is being made, and then the comment is supposed to explain why that change is being made. So we're going to say John is a new user or a new employee in sales, and we're going to create the account, and then you're finished. So once the account is created, it's automatically going to be put in those groups and be given access to whatever resources he needs. You can take some further actions, and that's how you create a new user or service account or an admin account with 8man. Thank you for listening.